he's a jolly good
Oh my
fellow.
God.
For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. Which nobody can deny.
I was not prepared for that.
Happy birthday, Tiago.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
It's your birthday.
We're recording this on my birthday.
Which
It's Tiago's
means,
birthday, everybody.
Which means you are legally required, if you're hearing this episode, to go into the iTunes reviews, write us a 5-star review, and writing "Happy Birthday, Tiago" in the review.
Yeah.
And next time we'll read all of the happy birthdays.
It's legally required.
Also, if you go to my Blue Sky, you'll see my Venmo QR code.
Yeah,
donations,
you should Venmo Tiago $5.
Donations accepted.
You've got your hat out front.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
This is true.
Who isn't?
All right, well, welcome to Updated Autopsy Report, a podcast from Yotza Ben and Friends, where we read and watch the inspirations behind Ace Attorney. I'm your host, Ben, and with me today is Dessy.
Hello.
And two good friends of ours, Tiago
Yo.
and Rose.
Hi.
We are all longtime fans of Ace Attorney, and we hope that through our perspectives, it'll reveal new details and provide interesting commentary for all the media we discuss. Our intro music is by Lace, and you can find all her other work at leiss.bandcamp.com. Today, we are discussing the 1974 Sidney Lumet film, Murder on the Orient Express, which is, of course, adapted from the Agatha Christie novel of the same name.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're doing this a little out of order. And I know some folks might be like, well, why aren't you reading the novel first? Why aren't you reading any other Agatha Christie stuff first?
We don't have time we don't have time for this, for these questions.
I mean, I do have time for it, but I'm not doing it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was more a scheduling thing that we decided to slot this in sooner rather than later. So it was more just like, hey, this is a time that we can fit this in, and it makes sense to do it now. So that is the logistical explanation for it. And who knows? We might swing back around to some other Agatha Christie stuff later. I mean, it's definitely on the list, to be clear.
Yeah, listen, I had to finish some shit for Anime Boston. I will not apologize.
It was Anime Boston, and I didn't have to finish anything. I was just exhausted.
Yeah. Well, I had to paint some stuff and boots. Mostly boots.
And boots.
It was a lovely time.
And also, we're
Rose
recording this
needed
on
to do
Tiago's
some
birthday, so we're not going to make him work
Yeah.
too hard. Just watch the movie.
It's been a busy week here for the updated autopsy report.
So yeah. Does anybody have any prior experience with Agatha Christie or any Hercule Poirot, novels? Anybody like watched?
I think
or
I read one
any of the
in.
other stuff?
I think I read one in middle school.
Okay.
I think
I
I
have
read
to-
one of her books.
I have to do some Googling real quick. Because
Mhm.
my friend, who I've known for a very long time,
Agatha.
yeah, Agatha.
Agatha
I'm not going to name
herself?
drop her. I'd feel it rude to name drop someone who isn't on the podcast. But the point being is that we watch a lot of like movies and TV shows together sometimes, and there was just like one day where we were both absolutely like fried as hell, and she was like, "I'm gonna put on Agatha Christie," and I was like, "Okay." The Agatha Christie's Poirot show featuring, and the actor is on the tip of my tongue, and by the tip of my tongue I mean
About to be
on
Googled.
Wikipedia his full name is Sir David Courtney Suchet.
Suchet. Yeah, David Suchet is perhaps the most famous portrayal of Poirot, and I think one of the most beloved.
Yes.
Is his long-running TV rendition of Poirot. Yeah.
I've seen 2 Poirot episodes. One of them involved Maid, and I can't even remember the fucking plot of it. And the other one was Murder on the Orient Express. So
Yep, there you go.
I've read this story before, and then I watched the movie, and it was a little different.
I
How about you,
have
Rose?
much approximate knowledge of Poirot. It's one of those things where it's like, this is a classic I'll get to eventually.
Right.
I'll read all those Agatha Christie books. And then, you just sort of don't. They just sit around on the shelf, and you've got and you just feel bad every time you look at them, so you don't ever start. So
Damn,
yeah,
girl.
I had some vague awareness of the general plot contrivances of Murder on the Orient Express, but I still had a very delightful time with this film, so I'm quite happy.
How
even though I
delightful.
knew some of the things.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a Sidney Lumet film. He is kind of a legendary filmmaker. He has made a lot of classic films such as 12 Angry Men and Serpico. I came into this podcast as we were prepping for it a little ashamed, honestly, of how little of Lumet's work I had seen. So I also made sure to watch 12 Angry Men before we came in here. This I did not require anybody else to do this.
I wasn't gonna call you out for it, but yeah, literally the other day Ben was like, "Yeah, I felt so bad. I just watched 12 Angry Men the other day."
Yep. Yeah. So it was one of those things. Again, much like how Rose was describing having these Poirot novels hovering over. I mean, it's the same thing for me. 12 Angry Men has been a movie that's been hovering over me forever. I've had it here, just ready to watch, and I just never. And well, here's the thing: I'm the movie guy in our friend group. But if you compared me to an actual movie guy, I'd probably get smoked, right?
That's okay. I don't really like them anyways. Sorry.
You're allowed to enjoy things casually.
Well, the thing is, I do love movies, but yeah.
I'm sorry. The reason he's not a movie guy is because I'm not a movie person.
Sorry, Rose. You were about to say something else.
No, I was just gonna say something derogatory about movie guys, so maybe it's better to move on.
Well,
I do have several of them, so
I have a Letterboxd account, so like guilty as charged, right? But
Am I not a movie guy?
Man, 12 Angry Men. Don't know if you've heard this. One of the best films ever made. Wow, golly gee, what a great time. Should watch
talk
that
about
one
that instead.
we should maybe watch that one for the podcast. I should maybe add that to the list because that's a jury drama right there.
Is it not already on the list? I assumed it was.
It was one of those things that I had as like potential, right? As an option. But since it has not been like a direct inspiration for Ace Attorney, I had it lower on the list, right?
We'll get to it if they take too long to come out with another game.
Yeah. Exactly. But some things in 12 Angry Men were incredibly illuminating for Lumet's work in this film as well, because that is a film that basically takes place 99% entirely in one room, very close quarters, lots of people in small spaces, which very, very useful skill to have like brushed up on and learned before you do a film in which there's a bunch of crazy characters that are all crammed into these tiny train cars, and you have to figure out where you put the camera, how you arrange the camera, and fit all these people into the shot.
A real ass train.
Yeah, a real train, and all the stuff without making it feel overly crowded or, overlapping too many characters, making it difficult to read, all that stuff. Which this movie does a very good job of making everything very readable. And just the blocking and everything is fantastic. But we'll get into that some more later here. So yeah, this adaptation is pretty light on changes. It's mostly just tweaking of names a little bit here and there just to make, I believe, them a little bit more readable. Sometimes names that work on the page, if you're having people say them, if they sound too similar, sometimes, scriptwriter might just say, hey, we're going to make these names sound more different so that it's easier to follow the story, and that kind of thing. So I believe the names were just tweaked for.
Let me tell you how many times they said the name Ratchet, and I turned to Ben and looked at him.
Because now,
why Ratchet?
What does that mean?
Because they're obsessed with Transformers right now, and there's a Transformer named Ratchet.
I forgot about those funny little.
Every time they said Ratchet, I turned to Ben and I went, Ratchet.
Like
not
the Transformer.
Like the Transformer.
Not Ratchet and Clank?
Yeah, like Ratchet and Clank.
I never played that game. I played Spyro and Sly Cooper.
I've heard of
There
those
you go.
guys.
I
don't know what I'm talking about. I didn't have gaming until I was in high school.
Yeah, I was kind of a gamer. I played Mega Man Battle Network on my Game Boy Advance.
Allowed to get a Game Boy. It's not my fault.
That isn't my fault.
We're gonna tell the stories again.
Do it again.
About me getting my Game Boy for Christmas and Rose not getting one because her parents were weird.
Her parents were weird.
Dad, you're cool. You
Yeah.
might actually listen to this.
I was gonna say, are they listening?
Mom, no. Dad, maybe.
Oh my god. Mary
So,
and Joseph.
Let's move on.
To add some extra context here, this was a very successful picture at the time. Did very well.
No shocker. No shocker.
The original novel also, was very at the time. This was very ripped from the headline style storytelling that Agatha Christie was using. I'm not sure how familiar everybody is here with the Lindbergh baby kidnapping and murder.
Is that real?
Oh, that sounds familiar, actually. Hold
the
on.
The Lindbergh baby kidnapping is a
And murder.
Was a like a very famous event that happened in 1932, in which a baby was kidnapped from their crib, from their home, and Colonel Charles Lindbergh and his wife, they had this baby that was literally abducted. There was an attempt to ransom the baby, and then of course it was killed and found. So like it was like, and it was a huge news story, right? It was everywhere. The FBI got involved and everything. So Franklin D. Roosevelt was part of the FBI at the time, right? And Franklin D. Roosevelt was president. J. Edgar Hoover was FBI director at the time. Excuse me, I'm getting my presidents mixed up.
Oh my god. If you Google Lindbergh baby, you get the fucking FBI website page about the kidnapping as the first result. Yeah, I actually do have a vague awareness of this one.
Huge media fracas, and inspired like a gazillion stories off of this crime, right? And so this, the Armstrong baby kidnapping and murder that happens in this is almost identical, right? It is practically the exact same thing that happened in real life, just with the names changed. So there you go. If in case you ever thought that these novels were like too stuffy or not timely, or in any way, like Agatha Christie was doing stuff like writing about shit that happened a year or two before, going like, I'll just take that and put that in my novel.
It definitely like a slightly more modern true crime comparison, like especially with all the like flash at the beginning of the movie. There's a lot of like flashing like newspaper articles and stuff that's very reminiscent of this kidnapping case, but
Yep.
A more relevant, like, modern one might be, like, the John Benet Ramsey case, where, like...
Yeah.
The media sensation over, like, this kidnapped child and, like, what happened, and obviously slightly different theming and media reaction, but definitely a similar thing of, like, oh, a missing child, let's go absolutely insane about it.
Right.
That'll get views.
Yeah, that'll get views. That'll sell newspapers. Everything is the same forever.
For modern folks, I think perhaps the most apt comparison would be Balloon Boy.
Shut up!
Fucking Christ.
That is... Ben! I sat here and I went, man, this was a lot more gruesome than I imagined. I can't believe this baby really got. Mamma mia. Okay.
Oh, Ben.
I'm pulled back into the levity of this podcast now that
you know what? This movie had some very funny moments, and I'm happy to discuss them. I had a delightful time. I was cackling. There were MILFs.
Yep.
The French the Belgians, all very fun.
Yeah,
Lots of
Paul is
laughs.
a Belgian.
In the beginning of the movie, we were
Just
both
like
like, "Oh, we
Tintin.
thought he was French," and then in the middle of the movie, they were like, "Oh, I thought you were French." And we're like,
It's
"Oh,
just
okay."
like Tintin. It's just like Tintin. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's French." No, he's Belgian.
Yep.
Whoa. You know for sure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did he tell you that?
He told me.
He told
He
me. I
did?
know about him.
He whispered it in your ear.
I have
secrets.
multiple Tintin figurines. I have a little stuffed Snowy. I've read all the books. If you show me a panel from a Tintin comic, I can tell you what book it's from.
That's
Whoa.
actually kind of crazy.
Yeah.
How many Tintin books were there? Anyway,
Except for like one of them.
Coming soon
Tintin
as a
fans will
spin-off,
know which one.
Yotzben and Friends podcast, Rose's Tintin podcast.
I am okay.
Rose's
we'll talk-
Tintin and Dune podcast with Tiago.
Yeah, we've got a couple podcasts coming down the pipe. Star Wars podcast, Dune podcast, Tintin podcast. You know, we'll get
talk
there.
about the Tintin podcast later. Okay.
Transformer podcast? No.
Should I do the summary now?
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Murder on the Orient Express, by the way, is possibly one of the most famous murder mysteries ever. However, I will still summarize it and ruin the twist for you. So, if you have somehow never read or watched a version of it, I suggest you do so. The famous detective, Hercule Poirot, is riding on the also famous Orient Express from Istanbul to London, along with Signor Bianchi, who owns the rail line.
Mm-hmm.
He then encounters a wild assortment of characters on the train. He's beseeched by a mysterious rich man, Mr. Ratchet, to be his bodyguard. Poirot finds him off-putting and refuses the request. The following night, Mr. Ratchet is murdered with 12 stabs into the chest.
He was off-putting.
However, as Poirot begins to investigate, he finds that there is perhaps too much evidence, and more keeps appearing as other passengers on the train bring him clothing, the murder weapon, and more, all pointing at possibly a mafia rival offing Mr. Ratchet. He slowly learns that everyone on the train has some sort of connection to the Armstrongs, a wealthy family that had their baby kidnapped, ransomed, but then killed instead of being returned, much like, as we said, the actual Lindbergh baby case. One of the kidnappers was sent to the chair, but the second, the true organizer of the deed, was never found. Poirot surmises that Mr. Ratchet was this mysterious second person. In the final breakdown in front of the whole dining car of passengers, Poirot reveals that all 12 people were in fact in on this murder and conspired to make it appear otherwise. He confesses that perhaps this was a justified killing, and with the 12 people here essentially acting as an extrajudicial jury. He then leaves it to Bianchi to decide how to proceed. Bianchi agrees to let the local police believe that it was a mafia killing, and the cast go their separate ways.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good for her.
Who's her?
I mean, all of them.
All of them.
All of them. Got
I mean,
it.
specifically, like, Mrs. What's her name?
The Countess?
I'm already lost in the sauce. I don't remember any of these characters' names. I'm pretty sure I can pick Poirot out of a lineup, and that's about it.
His actor
Yeah,
was
honestly,
so hunched.
I can pick out Sean Connery because that was Sean Connery in there. But
Yeah.
Wait, I'm watching. My roommate walks in the room and goes, "Is that Sean Connery?" And I'm like, "Yes, it is."
Fucking was.
I think
Therefore.
that I am.
And
Uh-huh.
you know what you is?
I am is
You is your birthday.
you is my
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday
Happy
to me.
birthday.
Um,
Okay.
So we go through the testimony of like each person in the train to
Like
figure out,
literally pulls
like
them to the
literally
room.
each person, like Poirot questions each one and it goes, all right, now I'm not interrogating you. You have the option to say no, and every single one of these people go like, I have nothing to hide. And I'm like, all right, come on. At
Shut
least
the fuck up,
pretend it.
Friday.
No one knows about Shut the Fuck Up Friday.
It hasn't been invented yet.
Fridays were invented. Oh, I just got a text tone. I should turn that off.
Sure fucking did.
That came through on the recording.
It really did. It was someone wishing me happy birthday, so
Aw, because it's your real actual birthday.
Okay, that's enough. I can't be the birthday boy for this entire episode.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Is there any of them that stuck out to you? Because the one that I remember the most is, of course, Sean Connery, who left an impression on me. Because he was angry.
He was angry.
He was an angry man.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly, I mean, I guess I'll pull out the one who got a lot of attention for it. Ingrid Bergman, she won Best Supporting Actress for her performance in this film. So she played Greta Olson, the missionary.
Okay,
the Swedish lady.
I really sat here and went, you've got to give me a little bit more than that.
Yeah, no, that's all right. That's all right. So yeah,
narrowed it down. There were several
so
women in
many
this movie.
Yeah, she won Best Supporting Actress for the 1975 Academy Award for this role here.
That's crazy. She wasn't even that big.
You know, I might not have picked her out of the lineup as the best, supporting actress on this, but
maybe she deserved it.
It is Ingrid Bergman. She is literally one of the most famous actresses ever. So,
I was all about Lauren Bacall in this one. I just double checked who the actress was, and it was
Lauren Bacall was also incredible.
Yeah, good. When I say good for her, I mean her.
The one who was really
Sure.
yelly all the time.
Yeah, the one who would not shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Oh, the lady that wouldn't. Okay, yeah.
The actual fucking queen.
The mastermind.
Yeah, she planned this whole operation. I cannot remember what her character's name is. It starts with H's.
I have supplied with you a chart in the chat now,
Oh my
so
god,
that you can look
chart.
at images, names, and
Thank you.
actors'
Oh
names.
my
Yeah,
God.
Harriet Hubbard.
That should help you out a little bit here.
What a cast, honestly.
It is.
Hubbard,
Listen, it's
that's
a
right.
big cast, right?
It's a lot of people.
Yeah, I saw her walk onto the set, and I was like, this movie's over for me. I only care about one thing, and it's this lady. And I was right.
Yeah, I mean, she is definitely the one who's orchestrating it. When we finally get the reveal scene at the end that shows how it happened, she's kind of standing behind everybody, watching and ensuring that it all goes off without a hitch. Excuse me. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, she's great.
Yeah. Woohoo.
And obviously it's hard not to talk about Albert Finney, who was Poirot in this.
Mhm.
He is kind of, I've read a lot of critique about his performance in this. People generally find him more off-putting than Poirot usually is portrayed, right? In other iterations. This is he's
kind of an asshole.
Like,
But this is
Poirot
the
is always a little
rudest.
persnickety, and he's that type of character, in that he's a little standoffish, right? But here it feels like the dial is turned up a little bit, which makes you a little harder to empathize with him and be like, yeah, go get him, Poirot. Like, here he is kind of a dick sometimes. You're like, all right, man.
The opening scene when they're like, what are they? They're in Istanbul, and he's like, the coffee sucks, and I was like, I'll kill you.
I know, yeah. Him dissing on the service
into my TV
as one of the first scenes that you see him is like, don't diss on the service workers,
he
Poirot.
rips up the menu, and I was like, I'm going to get you.
That's
Yeah,
that's
it
what
does- it's not a
Poirot
good
is
impression.
like. He's a mean man.
Okay, but I don't know, man.
I know.
I just it's if you're in Istanbul and you're complaining about the coffee, Istanbul. Do you know what I would do to have Turkish coffee right now?
What would you do? To,
I would
like,
kill a
Turkish
human
coffee?
person.
You would kill a human person?
Would you
Yeah.
kill them on a train with
Yeah.
11 other people?
Would you
Yeah.
want me to be one of them?
I mean, how do you feel about Turkish coffee?
It's all right.
It's really good.
Would you
Okay, I guess-
co-conspire with Rose for Turkish coffee?
I guess I'll kill for it.
Sure.
Yay!
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
friend.
invite you to my secret murder plan.
Dude, who's
My
in the
secret murder plan where it's just I go to like a coffee shop.
who's in the rotation? The murder rotation. Dude, this would have been an insane blunt rotation.
all
on
of
the train.
all of our other chat, basically.
I
Poirot
miss
was like,
Cafe Algiers.
That's 8 of us at least.
Poirot was just like, I could tell that from the way that you hit that blunt that you have a violent sensibility about you, sir.
Like this girl is gonna kill somebody for caffeine.
Yeah.
He set himself up for failure.
I think I liked the Italian man a lot as well. Antonio Foscarelli.
Foscarelli? I was going to say I like him too because he really came off as the smarmy car salesman. Like he just seemed like a good like 1930s car salesman.
He also seemed like kind of genuinely clueless. Like he was really like
He did
I
a little
know.
bit, yeah. He did
It's
kind
like,
of seem
what's
like he
this
wasn't
guy's
quite
deal?
in
Don't
on it.
worry about
entirely.
it.
like
That man is
like,
innocent.
Like when fucking Lauren Bacall was setting everything up, he was like, "Oh yeah, I guess we should also have Antonio here." Antonio, do you think he can make it? And he goes, "I'm already there for no
We
real
need a 12th person, so it's like a jury. Can you be here, please? We got to complete the metaphor.
The metaphor.
Yeah. You hate this guy, right? Get him. Or no, whatever. Who cares?
Who cares? I forget. I watched this movie. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's been a tough couple of days for me. So I watched this movie twice in the past 2 days. I can't recall who the fuck the train conductor is. What happened to... Yeah,
Like the actor, the connection.
The guy. What's his connection? I forget what the fuck he did.
His daughter was the maid who
Got it.
I watched this
Understood.
yesterday, and then I skimmed it real quick.
That's Jean-Pierre
Like, tonight.
Cassel's daughter. That jumped out the window. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, there
the
we go.
maidservant who was
Yeah.
falsely accused of being complicit,
Yeah, that
so
was
she killed herself.
Pierre. That was
So, like,
Mr. Michel.
if he wasn't a train conductor, none of this could have happened, right?
Yeah, he was a linchpin for everything happening. Letting people on, making sure that they all got their
Yeah.
tickets, you know. And
Creating alibis.
Poirot is like, this only works because of you. You did
Right.
this.
My man got the MVP status. He got the play of the game.
He did get the play of the game.
When it
we
came
have
to...
like quite a lot of setup at the start of this movie. Like it's kind of a slow start with
I do remember saying
getting
that.
like Poirot on the train because you
There's
know
no
his
room.
buddy's trying to get him on. You know, he's like they don't have any room, so he's squeezing him in with I believe it's Anthony Perkins's character Hector, the Ratchet's secretary, and all that.
Yes.
So yeah, so he's he's like, oh, because he's freaking out because he thinks he sees this new guy showing up and he's like, oh fuck, he's gonna ruin our plan. So there's like a whole bunch of like just plotting and just moving things around with getting Poirot in this small bunk and then moving him into the bigger room which is right next to Ratchet, et cetera, right? So there's all kinds of like movement that has to happen to get us into place for the actual murder to happen.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I feel like if this was an Ace Attorney mystery, this would have been similar to one of my favorites in Game 2, the one where the guy got murdered while you were there. You know what I mean? In the Fey Temple.
Oh yes, when
that
the
was
with
a
Meanie
fun
and Miney.
one.
doctor gets murdered. Yeah.
The more I think about that one, the more I like it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah, it's
very
a fun
often get like
I finally got Ghost Law after all those years of demanding Ghost Law.
I just like the fact that we were able to be sort of present for both before and after the murder.
Yeah.
Which I feel like sometimes when watching Columbo or something like that, the murder always happens before. You know, we don't get to be part of it. And I feel like I was present. You know, I just want to be in the moment.
You're right. You like to be in the room next door to the murder and hear it happen.
Mm-hmm. And nothing bad happened to me.
That'd be a hell of an immersive theater experience.
To kill a guy.
book a ticket on a train, and then you just randomly one night, a murder happens next door, and they're like, "All right, get all the actors in here now." Guess what? Now the actual murder mystery starts.
And you have to solve it.
Hotel had been cool. Not that I got to go.
Damn.
Yeah. Hardly anybody got to go with how
it kind of
expensive
reminds me of, this is bonkers, but there was a weird production of, hold on, it was either Hamlet or Macbeth, and I'm afraid that if I get it wrong,
they'll get
They'll
you.
come for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna get got. Where it was, yeah, it was Macbeth. It was definitely Macbeth because it was called Sleep No More, where you just like went into this area and like Macbeth was happening around you.
Oh yeah, Sleep No More is yeah.
My parents got to go to it,
famous,
and I didn't get to go because I was yeah. Well, I don't know how much Shakespeare stuff is like cool and famous, and how much is like, okay, Rose.
Wasn't there one of those plays in New York where I'm literally just describing Sleep No More?
My parents got to go to it, and I was too young, and I couldn't go, so I slept over at my friend's house, and I'm not bitter about it at all. But at the time, I didn't know what was going on.
One other thing I will probably just touch on, because I know this is a bit of a diversion, but I just wanted to call out here, since I mentioned blocking and stuff like that earlier, the cinematography is for such a constrained picture is pretty good. And the cinematographer was one Jeffrey Unsworth, who did a little film known as 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Ooh.
He was the cinematographer on that.
That sounds familiar.
He was also the cinematographer on Superman, the 1978 Superman, and Cabaret. So, just a few pictures that were also, very good. So it's tough to block and lay out a shot with,
a train.
5 people, 6 people in a shot, and eventually at the end, what is 13, 14 people, in a shot. It's just, to make that all work is tough. And it very rarely did I feel like things were getting too cluttered or that it was difficult to figure out who was sitting where. Like the whole time I was just like, oh yeah, no, this tracks. And I think something that I really, really love is when everybody gives their testimony kind of initially to Poirot, they all have their various things that they will say.
What was that?
What the fuck was that?
Can we just move past my life right now? I got sent something that I was looking at. I thought it was an image, it was a video. I'm so sorry. It's my birthday.
It's his birthday, Your Honor. Let's carry on.
Yeah. One thing I loved is that in all these testimonies that they give initially to Poirot, they're all filmed one way. And then when Poirot calls back to them in the final bit, and they cut back to their testimony of all their statements that they've made, they are filmed over again. They're filmed again a different way with the camera closer up or at a slightly different angle, right? And like usually like a lower angle, kind of like to kind of almost like increase the tension.
Really makes you think.
It was just a really good like way of kind of ratcheting up the tension for this for that bit at the end and I don't know, I just thought it was a really nice touch to kind of refilm those exact moments again.
I noticed they also did the same thing with the shots of oh Jesus, sorry. My French teacher, high school teacher, is gonna come out of the from under the bed and get me. Anyways, the guy, when he's doing all his funny stuff to get ready for bed, when they reshoot it as him remembering it, they also do those as at a different angle.
Yeah.
I thought that was nice as well.
It's really cool. Yeah.
I actually didn't realize they were different angles. I didn't notice.
That's fine.
That's pretty sick.
The cinematography.
The cinematography.
The cinematography.
We love cinematography.
I love cinematography.
I do also really like the breakdown at the very end where Poirot gets really increasingly angry about the fact that everyone lied in their testimonies. And not necessarily enough to incriminate any specific person, but the fact that every single person lied in their testimonies was enough for him to be like, alright, everyone's fucking hiding something. If everyone's hiding something, they've got to be fucking in on it. And he gets real mad. I enjoyed that part.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I mean, there's kind of like the moral, conundrum at the end of it is, how does Poirot describe it? It's, does he say it's a despicable murder of a despicable person?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he's like, perhaps you should have not done this specific act. But it does seem like he thinks this guy deserved to die,
Well,
maybe he did.
Now, I'm not saying I support capital punishment.
We don't.
Mm-hmm.
But if my baby was killed, I'd be a little miffed. Just a little upset, you know?
I don't support capital punishment, but I'm not going to judge people who have experienced things that make
beyond
them
our
feel like
comprehension.
that's necessary.
Yeah.
That's not my place to do. I think it's morally wrong, but on the other hand, I also support women's wrongs. So, get that guy. He got your granddaughter and your daughter's maid and your son-in-law killed. Get him.
We're allowed to contain multitudes within the world of fiction and be like, yeah.
Olive Green did nothing wrong. Olive Green did nothing wrong is what I'm saying.
Whoa, Olive Green.
Yep.
The original murderer on the Orient Express. I do like Olive Green. She was chill.
She was the best. She was right, and she didn't do anything bad, and I support her.
Artist validation.
I didn't realize that this was based off of something that happened only recently in, like, the history of when it was written. I wonder if, like, people who were actually affected by the actual event felt anything about it. You know what I mean? Because whenever here's where my brain is poisoned.
Okay.
Whenever I think about a piece of media using, like, referencing a real life tragedy, I wonder if it's done with respect, because I wouldn't know how to do it with respect. And I know how to do it with disrespect, a la Y2K, a postmodern RPG, where...
Wow.
I'm not wrong. We can all agree.
I didn't say you were wrong. I just thought that was a crazy pull.
It's exactly what happened. Like, a death occurred of somebody, and then it was referenced in the media, but, like, in Y2K, a postmodern RPG, it's done for the character growth of a shitty guy. And in here, the death of the baby is done as the motivation for the killers. So, like, I think in that way, it's okay. I mean, this is me speaking about myself, but, like, I could see how this would be okay because, like, each of the characters were, like, so fucking motivated by the tragedy that I think that it's understandable that they've done what they've done. Does that make sense?
Yeah. They didn't do it in, like, they didn't twist it in a way where it was like, they didn't make light of what happened. They didn't belittle what happened. They didn't belittle the people who were affected by it.
Yeah. And then they
sort
use
of
it.
Gives them their own, like, sort of noble motivation for their vigilante justice. I still don't know if it's morally correct, but...
Oh yeah, I'm not a moral. I don't know shit about moral philosophy. I'm not gonna sit here and deign that, like, this
me
was.
neither.
But I do know for sure is that it would be disrespectful if they created a JRPG with all 12 of these characters.
I was assuming you were going for, like, a horror movie grab, but okay.
No, I mean, shit, that is probably also done in horror movies. Like, there's also all sorts of tales of, like, people.
I mean,
who...
every horror monster ever is like almost all of them, I would say, is based off of a real life person.
Okay,
who
but
committed
like
atrocities.
every monster you're saying, right? That's a very wide umbrella. That's a lot of monsters in movies, Jess. Do you understand the
What
ramifications?
about the Ring?
I've seen like 6 horror movies.
I've seen more
movies are
horror movies
scary.
than you. And I only watch horror movies with Tiago. I have a very strict rule.
Des, I think
What
I've
real life
shown
tragedy
you.
inspired Alien, I wonder.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Did I?
Stop making fun of me.
Des, I think I've
The
shown
funny thing
you.
is I can actually tell you what real life tragedy inspired Alien.
Wait,
What?
The original film, when it was created by Dan O'Bannon, he was the guy who wrote the original script. He was suffering at the time from terrible illness that was affecting his gut and ripping up his insides, and he didn't know what it was. And he was like, damn, wouldn't it be crazy if this was what happened to you? Like if you got an alien inside you and it had to come out? He's like, I wish I could just rip this out. And yes, he had Crohn's.
Oh my
He
god.
got diagnosed with
God.
Crohn's eventually. So yes, the real life horror behind Alien is Crohn's disease.
Wait.
Oh, I'm so
a
glad it's
modern
not
day
pregnancy,
tragedy.
like
I'm
everyone.
so glad it's not pregnancy, bro. Hey, gang.
I mean, they made it about pregnancy later.
We can
whether
all
like
get
it or
pregnant
not.
now. It's okay.
I would
Wait.
prefer not to.
Wait a second.
I don't know if that was the moral of the story, but okay.
I this is just the now that I know that this is based on a real event, I'm like, I obviously
based on is kind of a stretch, but yes, heavily inspired by as like the inciting incident, right?
there's a solid chance that the family whose baby was taken never even fucking read this book.
I'm sure with how popular the book was.
I don't
they at
know. It's
least
fucking
heard
Agatha
of it.
Christie.
Never mind. My fucking fault, yo. I did not think that I was talking about Agatha fucking Christie.
My hope is that it was a power fantasy for them, but I'm gonna try not to think about it too much.
That
'cause
was
it is one of the most
I think
famous
was what I was
murder
gonna agree
mysteries
with.
ever.
Yeah. What were you about to say, Des?
I was gonna say I agree with like heavily with Rose. I think that's where my brain was going with
Leaning towards power fantasy.
I
like
hope
a
it's
power fantasy for like yeah.
Let's all
What
move
it
towards
was,
power.
what it would have been like
fantasy.
if the family actually could have gone out and killed the guy who did it.
If they got him.
They got him.
They fucking got him. I do also really like I'm going back to the film for a little bit, just because my brain has been soup recently, and the tides are turning, and sometimes when it's low tide, I can have thoughts. The thoughts appear under the tide, like a ship, like the remains of a shipwreck. What the fuck was I about to say? The tide's back up. Give me a sec.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm back. The room in which all the evidence was, Poirot does the line, it doesn't seem like there's too much evidence in here, and I'm like, yeah, buddy, that's Ace Attorney for you. You don't know when you're gonna need to fucking use this shit, or when you're gonna need to press.
He needed
You
an
would have
evidence
loved
wagon.
Ace Attorney.
Do you think Runosuke could be friends with Poirot?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
No more thoughts about that?
I mean, if you can be friends with fucking Hurley, you can make anybody work.
Yeah, I
I
can
feel
see...
like Hurley became friends with us.
Against
Hurley
our
didn't give us
will.
a choice.
Yeah.
I can absolutely see Poirot animated in the Great Ace Attorney style, standing, right next to, to several of the other characters doing some wacky animations, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can picture it in my mind.
Are you gonna rotate it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Spin it.
All right, I'll do the thing where they zoom in on the background where there's evidence. But and then the background is Hurley hanging off a chandelier.
Yeah.
There we go. I did not rotate it.
By 1930, Agatha Christie found Poirot insufferable, and
Yes.
by 1960, she felt that he was a detestable, bombastic, tiresome, egocentric little creep.
Uh-huh.
I love the term egocentric little creep for
woman who came to hate her own creation.
It's
I mean,
okay.
That's
I
a
think that
really
happens
good-
to everyone
It
who writes
That's
a
a really good
detective.
description.
I think if you serve the same dish over and over at a restaurant, you just get kind of tired of it, right? Like, it's monotonous.
You try to kill them.
You try to kill them. Did she try to kill Poirot?
I don't have that answer on deck for you.
Because, like, I know that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle definitely tried to give him the axe.
Oh yeah, he tried real hard. He did kill him, and then they were like, "You have to bring him back, or we're gonna cry." And eventually, he did. I guess.
Yeah.
Rip.
It's okay. I mean, I think the world's better.
Well, he's definitely dead now. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I don't want to imagine Sherlock Holmes with an iPhone. That would be a terrible adaptation.
That sounds terrible.
That sounds
Unless
terrible.
Lucy Liu is involved.
Okay, then it's pretty good. Wasn't she Watson?
Yeah,
We have this discussion like once every 3 months.
we
I
do.
I forget what the premise of the show Elementary is. Rose says it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I go, that makes sense to me. And then and then it just
But I
gets
explained that Lucy Liu is Watson, and then we're all happy.
it's gonna get washed out of my mind.
And Natalie Dormer's also there.
Who's Natalie Dormer?
Actress.
Good.
My fucking fault, yo. I should have known. That's on me.
I'm so sorry.
birthday,
She's
Tiago.
Moriarty.
Yeah.
I'll show myself out. That
Wait,
was
she's
random.
Moriarty? That's actually kind of dope.
Yeah. It's so sick.
We-
We've definitely had this conversation 3 times already. Listeners, feel free to skip ahead.
Listeners, slow down and put it in 0.75 speed so that I sound a little.
This is what happens when I lose control of the podcast, right?
Yeah, it's just Rose and Tiago talking about the same 3 TV shows over and over and over again.
Hey, it's my birthday.
It's his birthday, Your Honor.
It's
This
my.
is the loosiest goosiest episode yet.
That's not-
but that's okay. It's the birthday episode.
I'm gonna be
so.
completely honest with you. I also don't think this is our Lucius Goosiest episode. I think we've had Lucier Goosier ones.
That's possibly true.
Yeah.
I would accept
I mean-
evidence to the contrary.
It's goosey. I'll
Oh.
admit that.
There's a goose in the room.
Yeah. I think
Can
Ben
we
is
cook it?
always trying so hard to control us. I imagine he's like white knuckling. Like, he did not tell us that we were recording episode 69 until after we'd recorded it, because Tiago and I would have been
Deranged.
like out of control the entire time, even more than usual.
Yeah, I.
Oh man, yeah, good movie.
It is. I mean, I think I'd love to like see more Poirot adaptations and read some of the books, because I feel like I don't have enough to compare this against.
Mhm.
Like I said, the critiques that I've heard of Poirot's portrayal in this by Finney definitely are like echoing in the back of my head a little bit, where I'm like, okay, so people aren't as big a fan of his version in this film. I wonder, how that can all play out. I will say, we have seen, at least I have, 2 of the Kenneth Branagh versions of Poirot, the modern versions that are currently possibly still ongoing. He's done 3. And I think that the Kenneth Branagh Murder on the Orient Express is
that the one we
not
watched?
great. Yeah. It tries to make it too epic.
It tries to turn it into a modern movie more so. Like, it doesn't
and
feel like it's supposed to be like that.
There's moments that it succeeds, I think, but by the time you get to the end and Poirot drags everybody out of the train while the snowbank is still in front of the train, and obviously also the snow in this is like a huge CGI like avalanche, because it's got to be bigger and more bombastic. And he drags everybody out of the train, and they all line up on a table that are all sitting on one side of the table and facing him, like it's the fucking Last Supper reference. And it's just like, okay, man. Okay. And
this worked better. This worked better than what you're describing.
the murder on the Death on the Nile version, which adaptation, which comes after that, proceeds to give Poirot a sad backstory for his mustache.
He doesn't.
Which
that's
is
insane.
It's the most insane collection of words that you could ever say about Poirot. You got to give him a tragic backstory for his mustache. I won't spoil it if you want to watch it and see what the reasoning is. It's very funny.
Didn't we watch it together, or am I insane?
Yeah, we watched that one. That one also has
was at work.
That one has CGI in it that is so bad that it looks like a 1990s FMV point and click adventure game at times. Like, it looks like people are copied and pasted into the environment. I'm ranting about another movie now at this point, but suffice to say,
this is way more relevant than all of the rants that I've done so far this evening.
Yeah, suffice to say, I'm not a big fan of the Branagh Poirot versions, but I haven't seen the third one, so who knows? Maybe that one is really, really good. Maybe. I don't know.
Wait, which one have you seen? The Haunting in Venice?
The Haunting in Venice, yeah.
Dude, we should watch that.
Oh, we should give it a go at least, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one has...
Even if it's bad, it'll be funny.
It has Michelle Yeoh in it.
Oh!
So it can't be, like, at least you get to see Michelle Yeoh, right?
Okay.
There's always a silver lining.
Yeah.
Anyway, this one, the Lumet version of Murder on the Orient Express, it's not a like greatest film I've ever seen, but it's pretty darn good, I think.
I mean, I think the original story is good enough to like just capture my attention.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you've got a great base at the very least.
Good cast, some fun little camera work, good original story to be based off of. Good times.
Yeah.
Set up for success.
Perfectly pleasing afternoon, watch.
Yeah, and we love that.
Yeah. Well, hey, I think sounds like we've exhausted ourselves of our movie critiques for this episode.
We have.
Bro, I'm just exhausted in general. It's my birthday.
Yeah.
It's
Tiago in the beginning of the podcast. It can't be my birthday all day.
Oh, it can be. I changed my mind. I'm birthday filled.
I want to shout out all 9 of the Ace Attorney cosplayers I saw at Anime Boston.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Who was there?
Emma Sky, Men in Line at Dunkin' Donuts. Costume.
Honestly, on character.
Yeah.
Ideal.
In line, Dunkin' Donuts, 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
that's Emma Sky. Yeah.
I was also there. But I wasn't in cosplay yet, so she's doing better than me. Miles and Phoenix together.
Nice.
2 and 3.
Appropriate.
Hobo Phoenix.
Yeah.
Apollo in the Cheesecake Factory.
I was not in
the Cheesecake
in the Cheesecake Factory with the knife.
He was in the Cheesecake Factory. Trucy. Lovely Trucy. Extremely cute cosplay. Really stunning.
It's so hard to go wrong with a Trucy cosplay. Trucy cosplay was what got me to play Ace Attorney, so...
Yeah, I thought of you, and she looked amazing, so I was like, hell yeah. A different Apollo, not in the Cheesecake Factory. Another Miles, all by himself. And one Francisca Von Karma.
Wonderful.
One Francisca, okay.
And that's all 9 of you. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate
still here, still alive.
Yep. I was like, damn, that's like 2 Apollos. Nice.
We love
2 different ones, too.
We love 2 Apollos.
2 Apollos, 1 Phoenix.
There are Apollo enjoyers out there still at Capcom.
Well, I guess 2.
Think about what you did.
Phoenix.
Yeah. I count them both.
I count them both.
Anyways, great work, everybody. Lots of fun at Anime Boston.
All right. Well, yeah. I think then that'll do it for us this week, folks. Thanks for making it through this one.
We're so sorry. Honestly, if you're still here, you're our personal friend at this point.
If you're still here, my Venmo is Tiago S. Dutra.
We can beg for money from our friends.
I actively did. In several group chats today, I said, "Let me make this easy for y'all. Donations accepted," and posted my Venmo. There we go.
It's too late.
I understand that, but in case of the people who are not as prudent of present buying as you are,
That's true.
I should have
Which
said
is
present
almost everybody.
purchasing, so I could have kept the alliteration.
Present purchasing.
I love presents. I love to give and send presents, and
I love giving gifts.
it's so much fun.
My favorite.
Yes.
Please don't ask me how much money I've spent on people in the last 6 months.
Same.
Well, it doesn't count if it's for somebody else.
I wish that was true, Rose. I actually straight up wishing that was true. I would make half the money back. I would make half the money I spent back on Anime Boston.
Speaking of giving gifts,
What?
somebody has given us a gift by writing a 5-star review
Oh my
on
gosh!
Apple Podcasts.
Yay!
I forgot that people could do that.
From just a few days ago, Give 'em Helvetica wrote,
What a name.
Sick
a
username.
must listen.
Sick.
A must listen for AA fans. I started my Ace Attorney journey in summer of 22, and after finishing Trials and Tribulations, I remember finding this podcast. But because I had just gotten top surgery, my scrambled recovery brain put it on the back burner. Fast forward to PAX West 2024, where on the drive home, I remembered UAR, and ever since then, I haven't been able to stop listening and looked forward to immediately playing an episode after finishing each case as I went. This podcast has been such a comfort to me, not just as a big AA fan, but as a freelance artist that greatly values grassroots approaches to creating. It feels good knowing that this group of genuine friends making this content I love aligns with my values, and their passion for the series makes me even more passionate in return. Thank you, UAR, for this awesome work. Now that I am fully caught up on AA games, I'll keep following along with the inspirations. I can't recommend this podcast enough. Heart, Ernie.
Thank you.
Oh my
God, that
God.
was
Thank
so
you,
cute.
Ernie. That's such
Belated
a wonderful
congrats on your
thing.
top surgery.
Congrats on your top
Absolutely,
surgery.
congrats.
Thanks
I-
for the review.
You listening to this while we're having our most deranged episode possible.
Yep.
No, we
Thank you
already
very
established
much.
Better.
this can't be our most deranged episode, but it's definitely in the top 5.
It's
It's
deranged
up there.
for sure, but it's definitely the
Last
most deranged.
episode was also deranged. I think we need to calm down.
I think. What am I supposed to do?
I think this is what brings the people here, so I think we need to be more unhinged.
Oh, you got.
Okay.
I'll start
Should we
doing
start doing
things.
clickbait?
Top 10 Venmo donations to my account.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Go on.
Oh, we can't do this.
wasn't that funny. I'm done.
I think you're funny.
I really appreciate that.
Alrighty.
Truly. What else can
Go
one
in the
do?
comments, leave us a 5-star review, tell me who your favorite Transformer is. Shout out to the Ratchet fans.
Damn.
My
yeah.
favorite is Starscream, but I still am a Ratchet enjoyer.
Mm-hmm.
If they're there, then they are feeling especially appreciated right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, like I said, we had to do a little bit of shuffling with our schedule. So again, to keep us all on track, we are going to go with, we're not going to go back to a book. We're going to do another TV episode this upcoming week as we kind of get back on the rails here. So we are going to do next time Suitable for Framing.
Ooh.
Yes,
Which
Which
yes,
is
yes,
a
yes.
Columbo TV
Ooh.
episode from 1971.
Oh,
This one is one specifically cited by Takumi as one of his favorites.
Me too,
So,
buddy. Me too.
Yeah, this one is a good one. So if you have never seen this Columbo episode before, that is the one we're going to do next. And then after that, I've got 2 novels that I'm looking at, and one of them might be called Arsène Lupin. So
Who
keep
the
that
hell
in
is
mind
that?
for the future.
He sounds like a gentleman.
You can keep up with the show and everything that we do via our website, updatedautopsy.report. That has links to all of our socials and everything else, including our YouTube channel, which features our Let's Plays and other fun videos, which is all youtube.com/@Yotsuben. You can follow me on pretty much all social media at Yotsuben. Dessy, where can people find you?
I am on Blue Sky at Dessy. Literally just at Dessy.
And Tiago?
You can find me at Tiago S. Dutra on various social medias, including Blue Sky.
And Rose?
You can find me basically only on Blue Sky at Rose Nonsense. And you can also find me, let's see, where am I right now? Yeah, just back on the floor. I'm just having floor time. I'm recovering from Anime Boston.
Every once in a while, we all
I'll
need
be
some
back
floor
out
time.
and about. Well, you know what? It's gonna be Pride Month soon, so you can find me at the Pride Parade. I got the day off work. I'll see you all there.
Yippee!
When's the Pride Parade?
The 14th. If
What am I-
anyone in Boston area wants to come hang out at Pride, it is gonna
This episode will be out before then. So,
yeah, it's
yep.
Saturday, June 14th. You know, all the usual places we have parades in Boston.
You know, it's never mind. I'm not gonna start listing things that we were going to. Just
It's just gonna be a lot of gay people there. They won't find me.
I mean, yeah, Pride makes sense, but I'm also gonna start listing specific events on that same day, and I'm like, no, wait, I should.
Wait, what events are? I'm only going to Pride. I don't know what you're doing.
There's another thing that I'm a little interested in.
Well, maybe next time you'll learn as we talk about it after the fact.
Yep.
Thank you so much for listening. Again, we hope you'll rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. Next time, we will be discussing the 1971 TV movie, Suitable for Framing, featuring Detective Columbo. See you next time. Bye.
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 Bye. Oh man, I fucking love that Columbo episode. Hell yeah.